you'll notice the problems created by Predanomics negatively affects both the left and the right common equally. It's another common reason for them to unite. Predanomics offers the elite the advantage of never actually being stressed or enslaved by debt. You and I both carry debt to buy things we couldn't afford otherwise. Without it, prices are so artificially high, the elite couldn't hardly sell much of anything. But the elite get around that by instigating government programs to subsidize their extortionary prices. So now the elite rule us through both debt owed to them and common dependence on government programs for survival. John Locke, the 17th century inspiration of the Declaration of Independence and the American Revolution, once wrote, "Where law ends, tyranny begins," and we have no law under Predanomics. Another way Predanomic tyranny is practiced is when the elite not only have the privilege of writing the laws that apply to all of us, they often pass laws that exempt themselves from compliance. When a section of society is allowed to write the laws that give them advantage over others and exempts them from the very laws they themselves write, what results is a society based upon privilege, not upon law. When you have laws that enforce the predation of one group over another and or selective or non-enforcement of the law, you have no law. You live in a tyrannical, lawless, privileged society. What we have in the U.S. today is a lawless society because our society's laws don't enforce equal application or due process. For instance, the elite don't pay bail. On the rare occasion the elite are arrested at all, the elite simply place a bond for their freedom, which they get returned in its entirety when they appear in court. Bail is set so high that we common must pay a bondsman 10% of our bail that is never returned to us. So many common are forced to spend time in jail before conviction, or even if they're not convicted at all. This violates the 8th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which protects us from excessive bail. Excessive means unaffordable, and it's meant to protect the accused from spending jail time before being convicted. Bail was never intended to become an industry. The 8th Amendment also protects only the elite from excessive fines. Criminal fines are never a burden to the elite, but to the rest of us, they become so insanely high we must choose between the burden of the excessive fine or jail time. The elite never have to make that choice. In fact, the elite will often find it more profitable to pay fines rather than to obey the law in the first place, the law they themselves write. On the rare occasion that the elite are convicted of felonies, they go to special prisons designed just for their comfort and protection. The elite pay no automobile insurance. Again, in most states, the wealthy merely place a bond in lieu of insurance, which is returned to them in its entirety upon demand. The elite can avoid the military draft. Even now that the draft has been abolished in the United States, who ends up in the front lines of our nation's military? It's us, the common. When the elite join the military, it's never out of economic necessity, and usually they join voluntarily as commissioned officers. The elite can afford to eat natural food. They artificially push the cost of naturally grown foods so high, they secretly started forcing genetically altered foods on the rest of us consumers. When this was finally revealed, they claimed it made food more affordable. But rich people can afford the insane prices demanded for real food. In fact, even the prices for this altered food is so high, much of the common must become dependent on the elitist government just to eat. The elite are protected from eminent domain. When was the last time you heard of a rich neighborhood being stolen from its residents to make way for a shopping mall or a sports stadium? The elite pay very little income taxes. Even their charitable contributions make their money on their income taxes. For every dollar they spend on charitable tax shelters, they make at least $2 in tax breaks. That's the only way to get them to contribute to charities at all. Remember, the elite do nothing if it doesn't make them money. That's how they stay rich. The elite don't have to suffer the indignities and dehumanization of airport searches. They simply pay a fee that allows them special privilege to avoid these searches that all the rest of us must submit to. Is this really the kind of world that you want? And these are just a few of the laws the elite pass that don't apply to them. This lecture series on equalism will continue next in Equalism 104. Please share this series with as many non-predators, with as many equalists as you possibly can. Thanks.